The war had raged for 17 cycles, and Orion Kale felt the edge of death creeping closer. His colossal form, marked with jagged scars from countless battles, sagged against the bridge console of his failing warship. Around him, the remaining crew moved like shadows in a storm, their hands desperate to hold the vessel together as the Vorath armada tore through the void. Orion's amber gaze fell upon the stasis pods nestled in the corner of the bridge. Inside, his 3 hatchlings slept, oblivious to the inferno that had consumed their homeworld. Only 2 cycles old, Zev and his siblings were too young to grasp the horrors of war, too innocent to shoulder the legacy of a dying civilization. "Commander Seleni's vessel has arrived on sensors, Orion," his second officer reported, voice wavering between relief and disbelief. Orion knew her name well, Commander Selene of the Terran Alliance, a human renowned for her unorthodox tactics and uncanny ability to protect the helpless. Humans were fragile by most standards, neither physically overwhelming nor technologically supreme, yet they bore a defiance that had earned grudging respect across the stars. "Open a channel," Orion rasped, each word a labor. The holographic projection shimmered, revealing a woman with steel-gray eyes and cropped midnight hair, her expression sharp and analytical. Commander Selene's eyes swept over him like a predator sizing prey, but when they lingered on the stasis pods, her gaze softened. "Orion Kale," she said. "They're coming soon. The Vorath will reach us within the hour," she continued, voice steady. "I know," Orion replied. "I ask something that defies every protocol of my people. My hatchlings, I need you to take them, raise them, protect them." A silence fell. Among the Drakari, entrusting one's young to another species was tantamount to surrender, a stain on honor, a confession of ultimate defeat. "Why humans?" Selene asked, her voice quiet, almost reverent. "Why us?" Orion's lips curved into a weak, sharp-toothed smile. "Because you hunt in packs. Because you take the lost, the orphaned, the shattered, and forge them into something far beyond what the galaxy expects. Humans survive where others perish, and that will be the shield that keeps my hatchlings alive long enough to become what they must be." Selene paused, the weight of his words sinking in. Finally she nodded. "Transfer the pods, I will protect them." "No," Orion growled, voice suddenly fierce despite his failing body. "Do not merely protect them, make them strong. Teach them to fight as humans fight, with strategy, with unity, with that maddening refusal to yield. When they are ready, they will reclaim all that was stolen from us." The communication ended. Moments later, Orion's ship disintegrated in a brilliant cascade of energy, taking him and his loyal crew into oblivion. 15 cycles later, Admiral Selene stood on the observation deck of the Terran Alliance flagship Resolute, gazing at the fleet assembled below. Representatives from dozens of species crowded the deck, murmurs of apprehension passing among them. The Vorath Dominion had expanded recklessly, consuming worlds with brutal efficiency. Isolated pockets of resistance were systematically crushed, until today. The hangar doors opened, and silence struck the room like a hammer. Zev stepped forward first. He had grown to nearly 3 meters, his Drakari heritage honed by 15 cycles of human tutelage. Yet it was not his towering stature that commanded awe, it was the aura he carried. He wore armor that fused Drakari battle design with human ingenuity, a symbol of 2 cultures united. His siblings followed, equally imposing, equally lethal. But they were not alone. Behind them streamed the vanguard, 2,000 warriors from 100 species, all allied under the Terran banner. Humans, Drakari survivors, former Vorath soldiers, and countless others who had been trained, nurtured, and inspired by humanity's relentless will. Zev's voice carried across the deck in flawless universal tongue, tinged with the accent of Drakari tradition. 15 cycles ago, my father left us to humanity, thinking they could make us strong. He was wrong. The assembly shifted uneasily. They did not simply make us strong, Zev continued, amber eyes blazing. They made us unstoppable. They taught us that true strength lies not in claws or firepower, but in the bonds forged between those who fight for each other, in refusing to abandon the helpless, in standing together when all logic demands flight. He gestured to the vanguard. My father entrusted us to Commander Selene to raise hatchlings. Instead, she raised a family, and families do not abandon one another. Admiral Selene stepped forward, her face weathered by war yet resolute. The Vorath believe the galaxy bends to their hunger. Today, they will learn what happens when they threaten humanity's pack. Zev raised his arm, and the vanguard erupted into a roar. Not just Drakari cries, but a chorus of war songs from countless species, a symphony of human stubbornness and unity. The campaign that followed became legend. The vanguard moved with coordination no enemy had ever faced, blending Drakari ferocity with human cunning, striking weak points with surgical precision, rescuing the enslaved and recruiting them to the cause. Every victory expanded their ranks, every liberated world became a fortress. The Vorath, used to fragmented resistance, could not comprehend an enemy that fought as one, unpredictable, relentless, and unwilling to surrender. In the final confrontation above the Vorath homeworld, Zev stood with Admiral Selene on the bridge of the Resolute. The enemy fleet outnumbered them 3-1, but the vanguard fought as if the stars themselves guided them. My father thought he was saving us, Zev said quietly, eyes tracking enemy formations. He did not see that he had given humanity the opportunity to save the galaxy. Selene smiled, proud and fierce. No, Zev. He knew exactly what he was doing. He chose the one species mad enough to turn 3 orphan hatchlings into the leaders of a revolution. The battle was brutal, precise, and unyielding. The vanguard moved like a living organism, each species contributing its strength to a seamless whole. When the Vorath flagship finally fell, their dominion collapsed with it. In the shattered command citadel, Zev raised the banner of the vanguard, a fusion of the Drakari sigil and Terran alliance insignia, surrounded by the symbols of every species that had joined them. Orion Kale had left his hatchlings in human care, hopping for survival. Instead, they had returned, leading a force that reminded the galaxy, humans do not simply endure, they thrive. They protect. They build families from strangers and forge legends from the abandoned. Subscribe to the channel to make the stories even more exciting.